There's thick jungle in every direction, save for a small trail leading southwest. I'll follow the path leading out of the village so I don't get lost. Let's see where it leads to. What is that sound? Christ, there really is a tiger out there. I never knew they sounded like that. Thinking about it, I'm not a vet, but this guy might be injured. No doubt he'd still eat me given half a chance. I should stay out of his way. I don't know anything about mushrooms, but that's no reason not to pick them. If they taste foul, I can just throw them away. Hello?
Yes? Any luck in hunting the tiger?
Yes, I saw the tiger. You're right. He's still lurking about.
Told you so.
I think I know why it came into the village last night as well. He looks injured. He's out in the swamp making sad noises. Would that explain why he's acting so aggressively?
Quite possibly. But regardless, I am staying in my hut. And don't go getting any wild ideas yourself.
But I promised to help.
As you please. Is there anything else?
I found these mushrooms in the jungle. Are they edible?
I would only eat them if you have sleeping problems. These mushrooms contain a natural sedative. We use them to treat minor injuries. But I have heard of a Brahmin who performs operations on injured animals and sedates them with the poison from these mushrooms during the operations.
Interesting. So you just chuck them down the creature's throat?
No, the sedative must get into the bloodstream. The mushrooms are cooked and the juice that escapes is then injected. It requires a bit of experience to get the dosage right. Too much of the stuff could knock out a huge water buffalo, never mind a small pet.
No problem. Caution is my middle name. I found these stones in the village square. I don't suppose they're, valuable by any chance?
No. These are flint stones. Keep them by all means.
Oh, well, thanks anyway. Is there any chance I can convince you to come out for just 10 minutes? The tiger's out in the swamps. I don't think he really poses a threat.
I forgot I was the tourist and you were the local. Believe me, it poses a threat.
All right, all right. I'm on it. I'll see what I can do.
Good luck.
They should go up nicely. The reed's caught. The logs shouldn't be far behind. To what end again? In you go. If the old guy is telling the truth, I can boil these mushrooms into some kind of natural sedative. That was quick. There's a dark sap oozing out. Let's get this off the fire without burning my hands. I can tie one of the pottery shards to one of the sticks. Great. I'll use a few fibers from the hemp cord to make fletching for the dart. I'll dip the tip in the homemade tranquilizer. Voila! A perfect tranquilizer. He looks hungry. Goats eat green things, don't they? Okay, little guy. Fancy an adventure? I'll tie a piece of the cord around the goat's neck, so it doesn't run off before I'm done with it. I'll tie him up here. I hope this works. Meh. Don't worry, you're not bait. You're just a distraction. Okay, preparations are in place. I'll lure the tiger into the village, then hide behind the tree in the square. While the tiger's busy with the goat, I should have just enough time to hit him with the dart. Let's hope the sedative works. For my sake, as well as the goat's. Do or die. Only one shot at this. Concentrate.
Have you shot it?
No, I've just sedated it.
Sedated? And what happens when it wakes up?
Look, he's injured. There's a nail stuck in his front paw.
Ah, you are correct. He has obviously fallen into a trap.
You set up traps to piss these guys off.
No. Many farmers in this area protect their fields and plantations from all sorts of animals with spiked traps such as these. If a tiger gets injured by such a trap, it cannot hunt in its usual way.
And it gets angry.
It begins to look for easier prey.
Chickens, goats, people.
Exactly.
Okay, let's pull the nail out. Then we can take him out into the jungle and hopefully he'll wake up and wander back to his natural habitat.
This could work. I extend my thanks and the thanks of the entire village to you, stranger.
You know, thanks are great and all, but don't forget our deal. Let me take a look at this guy's foot. You find something we can use to move him.
Okay. I'll fetch a cart and we can take it to the other side of the valley.
Okay, we're done.
Then I will lead you to the old temple as promised. Follow me. This is it.
Here? But I don't see a temple.
Behind me in the lagoon.
What do you mean, in the lagoon?
According to records, there was a narrow valley here in which a temple stood until a few hundred years ago. One day, after a heavy storm, the valley was flooded along with the temple. Since this day, everything that remains of the temple is under the surface of the water. Only this statue standing on the roof of the temple bears witness to what lies beneath.
Do you think anything's still intact down there?
I cannot swim, how would I know?
Okay. Well, thanks for your help.
It was no problem, stranger. I had better make my way to the next village to tell the women that the tiger is no longer a danger. Would you care to accompany me?
Women, you say? No, I really ought to get back to saving the world. Thank you, though.
As you wish. Good luck.
I usually need it. Perhaps some of the temple's still intact. I've got to check it out. At least the water's nice and warm. You know, it all started innocently enough. Flies. Nothing dangerous about flies. Then there was the cat. Then the sheep. The tiger. Now sharks. Bloody sharks. I'd better steer clear of him. At least the temple looks intact. I'd better head back to the shore before he spots me. Okay. I have to get rid of that shark if I'm going to reach the temple. I'll fill it with water. Let's get up there and take a look. This wreck's old. The jungle's begun eating into it. There's a cardboard box in relatively good condition in the glove compartment, but everything else is foobar. Let's see what's in this box. Looks like an old radio. A radio with a hand-operated generator. You produce power by turning this little crank on the side. Oh, it fell off. Wow, blind luck. The radio crank fits right into the bolts on the cover. Ah, there's an electrics cable under here. Might come in handy. I'll connect one end of the cable to the contacts on the radio. This should moisten the bloodstain. I've soaked the cloth in the blood. I'll knot the blood-stained rag onto the loose end of the cable. The radio can be charged electrically, and that charge could then be conducted down the cable. Sharks, I'm sure, are sensitive beings at heart. Even a small shock should be enough for him to turn tail. Of course, he's right on the lagoon bed. I'll need him to be right on top of the cable for it to work. Hopefully the smell of blood will be enough to attract his attention. It's working. The shark's surfaced, and he's circling the bait. I need to hurry before he pulls the whole thing under. Whap! 40 volts straight to the face. Fenton Paddock, top of the food chain. Time to get down there and check out this temple. I'll collect some mud. It's a huge gate with a recess in the center. The recess isn't very big. I can reach all the way in. There seems to be some kind of mechanism back here. I have my strengths, but breathing underwater isn't one of them. There's an old column here, reclaimed by the jungle. There, I've managed to cut away the plants with the sharp edge of the pole. There's a small carving here. I severed the vine. It's dripping some kind of oily sap. I'll soak the reeds with some of the sap. The cardboard softened in the water. If it's good for my skin, it can't do any harm to an old rock. I'll oil it up. Perfect. This should make for a good mould. The damp cardboard will dry around the carving, and the plant oil should let me get it off again in one piece. Cardboard's dried in the heat. If I just remove it carefully, and yes, a beautiful cardboard mould. I fill the cardboard mould with clay. Let's hope it's hot enough to fire the clay. That should do it. The cardboard's burned away, and the clay looks pretty solid. Got it. It fits. We're in business. How has no water reached this part of the temple? It smells old and dank, but at least I can breathe. The painting shows burning houses and many, many dead people. They're fighting one another on a huge mountain of corpses. But they don't look like warriors. They're just townsfolk, murdering one another. Is this the fall of Shambhala? The inexplicable catastrophe that Professor Hayes mentioned? But he said it was a dragon, and Kim translated something similar back at the monastery. These people are killing each other. But why? There's a round stone jutting out of the wall here. I'll grab it. It's a magnificent city, with some kind of glowing orb in the center. This must be Shambhala, the light at the center. That must be the source of these morphogenetic fields. It's the world soul. Here's another stone. It's so well preserved. The painting seems to portray a scene Professor Hayes told me about. It's a group of herdsmen or hunters entering a large cave in the mountains. These are the people who discovered the entrance to Shambhala many thousands of years ago. There's a loose stone protruding slightly from this painting. There's a plinth in the middle of the room. Okay, we've got 6 circular recesses arranged around a symbol. This must be where the artifact was stored all that time ago. I'd better take a closer look. There's a small slab in the middle of the plinth with a symbol on it. heard something move inside. Is it unlocked? I can't move it. There's a small slab in the middle of the plinth with a symbol on it. Aha! The stones can be pushed down into the platform. Finally, the second key. I've traveled 3 continents just to find this thing. I should be happy. Or at least relieved. But there's something bothering me. Something at the back of my mind. I'm finally holding in my hands the key to Shambhala. The key to rescuing Richard. And I've got this weird feeling about it all. Is that my conscience? Damn, I thought I lost the thing years ago. Maybe all this wasn't such a good idea. How many people have already died for this thing? And how many more will die if I open the gate to Shambhala? Beyond all the myths and the legends, there has to be something real at the end of it all. There is something behind that gate that shouldn't be messed with. I don't know. Maybe it's this place, or maybe I'm just tired, but I can't help but think back to Hong Kong Harbor. I made a split-second decision to save Richard. And it was the wrong one. I won't make the same mistake again. I don't have the luxury of special circumstances as an excuse this time. And this time, there's a lot more at stake. Kim said you can't weigh one life against another. Last time, my mistake cost 8 lives. This time, it could be thousands. I've got to accept the reality. I can't go back to Tibet. I have to go back to where it all began. I have to justify the most difficult decision of my entire life.
Lord Weston,
Yes?
Mr. Paddock is back.
What? What are you waiting for? Send him in, quickly. Fenton, you have no idea how relieved I am to see you.
Lord Weston,
Do you have any news of my son? Is he alive?
I'm afraid it's not that simple, Governor.
Is Richard dead? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, he's still alive, I think.
Oh, thank God. Do you need more money? How can I help you? Just say the word, I'll do everything within my power.
Sir, I know where your son is. I even have the key to the gate that leads to his location. The problem is, I can't be answerable for opening that gate.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Richard is in a place in the Himalayas called Shambhala. For some reason, he fled there when his unit was attacked by Nazi troops. Maybe it was the only way he could prevent the Nazis from entering Shambhala. The point is, that place holds a secret so vital, it cannot be permitted to fall into the wrong hands at any cost. This is what I've come to realize. The second key could undo everything Richard has worked for. If I reopen the gate in order to follow him, I'd risk letting the Nazis into Shambhala. Lord Weston, we have to destroy the second portal key. I'm sorry, but the dangers it represents are simply too great.
What are you saying? You suggest that we leave my son, your friend, to his fate?
Lord Weston, you know what Richard means to me. You know what I've sacrificed for him. Believe me, if there were any other way, I would take it. I know it's hard to accept, but after everything I've seen and experienced, I just can't continue with this mission. I'm here today to ask for your understanding.
I cannot believe I'm hearing this. You sentenced my son to death, and you come here asking for absolution. I was wrong about you, Paddock. If you are unable to handle the situation, I shall have to find someone who is.
As I said, I'm very sorry, Lord Weston. But I've made my decision. I'm going to destroy the key.
I'm afraid that decision is no longer in your hands.
What is this? You're collaborating with the Nazis, Governor?
I had no choice, Fenton. Mr. Kleist claimed to know where Richard was. He said he could return him to me. I was skeptical, but a father will cling to even the slightest shred of hope. I never gave up hope that you would solve the situation, and that I could quickly end my collaboration with the Nazis. But now I realize that I backed the wrong horse.
Governor, this is a mistake.
I'm prepared to take that risk.
Herr Paddock, I wonder if you would be so kind as to accompany me to the airport. You have an appointment in Tibet that you absolutely cannot miss.
We meet again, Mr. Paddock.
It's a dubious pleasure, Countess. But I guess you've become rather accustomed to having me around.
Had I been given the choice, you would be lying in your wretched Hong Kong shack with a hole between your eyes, believe me. I console myself knowing this will be the last time your good fortune keeps you alive. I hardly imagine you are aware of the fact, but you must at least have felt the transfer of energy when you held the second artifact in your hands, yes? Paddock, you have connected with the key. You are now the only person capable of using it.
You mean you can't get into Shambhala without little old me?
Precisely.
And you think I'm going to help you?
But of course, there can be no doubt.
I hate to break it to you, love, but if I really am your last option, you're rather scraping the bottom of the barrel. Your expedition ends here.
Tut, tut, Mr. Paddock. You are always so hasty to judge before knowing all the facts. I am well aware of the lengths you would go to keep Shambhala from us. You would merrily abandon your greatest friend for that very reason. But I wonder, would you so capriciously condemn to death your pretty little accomplice?
Kim?
You would merrily abandon your greatest friend for that very reason. But I wonder, would you so capriciously condemn to death your pretty little accomplice? Oh, please don't look so dejected. At least you have one less life on your conscience. Well, if you cooperate, that is. Please don't make me describe to you what will happen to your girlfriend should you fail to comply. I think you have the imagination to make the right decision.
Kim, are you okay?
Just about.
Well?
Okay. Let her go and I'll do whatever you want.
I would dearly love to grant you this wish, but alas, it may be that your friend can make herself useful on the other side of the portal. No, she stays with us, but she gets to live a little longer.
Fine. What do you want me to do?
Place the second key in the recess on the pedestal. We will talk some more in Shambhala.
Fenton, wake up!
What?
Fenton!
What? Richard? Richard, is that you?
Of course it's me. Are you feeling okay?
Why do you look like a ghost?
Oh, charming. You came all this way just to tell me I've seen better days.
I don't understand. My head hurts.
Apparently your sense of humor is still en route. Well, what is there to say but... welcome to Shambhala. It was good to see Wang's niece again, but I would have preferred it if you'd left the Nazis on the other side.
Kim? Where is she?
She landed in the central cavern along with the Countess. I managed to convince the guardians of this place to separate you and bring you here instead.
Guardians? You mean there are still people here?
No, not in present day Shambhala. Just you, Kim, and a few dozen Nazis.
So, what the hell are you talking about then? And what happened to you? Why are you all flaky?
Ah, well, that's the story, isn't it? When I used the original key back in the monastery, it transported me to Shambhala. But the Shambhala of the past. It seems when the key was constructed thousands of years ago, the monks who stayed in the Kembalung Valley to guard it planned to use it to return here someday. I don't begin to understand how any of this works, but believe me when I say that this place holds extraordinary power.
So I've read. Something about morphogenetic fields.
Providing it a name implies an explanation for something inexplicable, but yes, if you like, morphogenetic fields. The high priests described Shambhala as the heart of the world, but in truth, it's more like the soul. If you want to see it in a scientific light, I suppose you could say that the energy of this place is what constitutes the life force of every living creature throughout time. Just as every single person has a soul that makes him the person that he is, every species has a soul that makes the species what it is. And the sum of all that resides here. The world soul.
Would you be shocked if I said this was all a little over my head?
I've been here for days and I still don't understand it. I don't believe we'll ever understand this place completely. Just take it as fact. There is an energy here, an imperceptible energy that bonds us all.
How imperceptible exactly?
Well, we are all linked to one another subconsciously. But it's true that certain people are able to detect the fields with more precision than others. We call them mediums or oracles. But the energy fields explain a lot more than that. Think about natural instincts, or phenomena such as mass panic. They're all a result of the ebb and flow of those subconscious links.
Well, it all sounds very grand, but what does it actually mean on a practical level? Are we in danger?
Fenton, imagine the heart of Shambhala as a gigantic archive, a pool of everything people have ever researched, discovered, or developed.
So, that's a yes then.
It is. The entire world converges right here.
And the Countess knows that.
But it's not just that. The center transcends time and space. He who controls it controls the sum of all human knowledge, past, present,
and future. They could conquer the world.
No, that's not the threat. The power of this place is too much for any person to control. Mankind doesn't have the maturity to handle this gift. Even the priests of primeval times failed.
So, this field of energy ended up making the residents of Shambhala kill each other in a civil war?
Correct.
How?
Imagine understanding everything, instantly. The spirit of a person would be subjected to extraordinary strain. They simply couldn't cope. Besides, there are darker forces at work. This archive is not limited to discoveries and inventions. It represents the entirety of the human condition. Jealousy, envy, hate, these define the human species just as much as learning or understanding, and have a corresponding influence here in Shambhala. But, as I said before, it is not something we can easily understand.
Okay, fine. So we just wait for the Countess to open the center. I'll dash in, grab Kim, then we sit back and watch while they all kill each other.
You're absolutely right.
But
In my time, Fenton, the surviving priests are preparing to leave Shambhala for good. In order to protect the heart from misuse, they are performing a ceremony that will set up a force field around it. This field will allow only the bearer of a certain amulet to pass through. After the ceremony, the amulet will be divided into 3 pieces and hidden in the temples of 3 priest castes who once ruled here.
Hey, even better. The Nazis won't get past square one.
No, they've begun to plant explosives. The field is maintained in your time by a series of plinths. It would take a great deal of power, but they may be able to destroy them. We have to stop them, Fenton. They may not be able to wield the power of Shambhala, but if the energy of this place is disrupted in any way, it could have catastrophic effects for every living creature on the planet. We must act quickly.
We? I thought you were stuck in the past.
You're right. But you won't find the 3 amulet pieces without my help. If I understand it correctly, our times are now synchronized. We can communicate, but we cannot cross the boundary. In my time, the priests are only just now performing the ceremony to invoke the force field. So the amulet has not yet been hidden, and I have no way to know where it will be placed. But that doesn't mean to say I can't help you look for it.
And what am I supposed to do with the thing when I find it?
You will have to use the power of the source to drive off the Nazis.
As in the source that sends anyone who goes anywhere near it doolally? That source? Is there a plan B?
Don't worry. Once you find the dragon amulet, I will help you control it.
Okay, let's do it.
I couldn't agree more. The future of the world is in our hands.
Looks like I'm on my own again. I'm still not sure I've got a handle on all this. 10,000 years ago, the residents of Shambhala all kill each other, save for a few priests who escape the civil war. Shortly after that, Richard crash lands here and convinces those priests to invoke a force field around the center to protect it. Now the Countess, along with her troops, and Kim, are in the center of Shambhala, ready to blow the bloody thing up. And, surprise, surprise, I'm the only one that can stop them. I need 3 pieces of some amulet to harness the power of the source and somehow make everything okay again. That's Richard's plan, in any case. I'll probably just wander around breaking things until something interesting happens.
I should be able to lift this. I wonder if I can take the gears out. The wooden one comes away easily enough, but the others are firmly installed. I suppose I ought to check through it, just in case. Just about the only thing here even remotely sanitary is this nut. It's loose. I can most likely pull it out. I'll take the chain as well. They're lying loose. One kick ought to do it. Strictly speaking, one isn't supposed to interfere with these things, but something is telling me to do otherwise. I think I'll just break them off. I hope no one notices. definitely use this to loosen the soil. Saving the world is no excuse not to get one's hands dirty. I'll try to shift some of this soil. The soil is loose. I can pull it away rather easily, though not without dirtying myself a little. Still, it's only mud. There's a layer of protective paint on the lock that's chipping away at places, but the lock itself is strong. It won't budge. This is the central hub of Shambhala. It's hard to fathom, but these priests are conducting a ceremony that will construct a force field around the world's soul that will still be in place by the time Fenton arrives in around 10,000 years. When I first arrived here, I told them about the Nazi attack on the monastery. They decided this was the best course of action. Perhaps the dying monk gave me that key because he knew it would send me into the past. The priests needed to know the threat so they could prepare for an emergency like this. So, where to? I'm currently in the northern cave, and the two other temples are in the southwest and the southeast. It must be 200 degrees in here. I'll attach the torch to the chain. Yes, that works. This sign stands for fire or heat. This is the symbol for life. This is the symbol for life. As this bowl represents life, damp earth isn't a million miles from the goal. I'm not sure we're quite there yet, though. I'll plant the nut in the earth. Perhaps this will be a sufficient sacrifice for life. This is the Temple of Light. I'll leave the icicle here. I should be able to melt the icicle, then the tub will be full of water. I'll immerse the gear in the water. I'm not entirely sure why I'm doing this. Now I know how Fenton must feel all the time, regardless. I'm sure this isn't just a spontaneous urge. There was a stone coffin hidden under the mound of dirt. There's a brightly painted lock in front. The paint must be how they protect the metal from rust. I can't break open the lock, but perhaps I can burn off some of the paint. I'll place the stone directly under the dripping water.
Looks like this coffin once had an iron lock on it. It's completely rusted through now. Maybe I can get it open. Got it. The coffin's open. I really hope grave robbing will be the pinnacle of my less than moral activities. I hate to think how I'd go about besting it. The body's rotted to the bone. I have the most unsettling desire to take one with me. I'll take some with me. Looks like the Countess and her men have set up camp in the center. There's Kim.
Well, any news?
No, Countess. We could not discover a way out of the caves. But we haven't yet examined every corner.
And Paddock?
No trace.
Okay, forget it. Perhaps the idiot fell over the edge when we arrived here. No matter, we have other concerns to tend to. Prepare the explosives. I'm quite sure a small detonation will be enough to disrupt the force field.
Jawohl, Countess.
I need to shift these ropes, but the Countess is keeping a close eye on me. I could definitely reach the table with my leg and give it a kick, but the Countess would notice it immediately. Maps, documents, and a glass bottle.
I need to find the 3 parts of the dragon amulet. Fast. I'll grab the crystals. According to Richard, there are 2 more temples besides this one in the north. There should be a piece of the dragon amulet in each one. There's one in the southeast and one in the southwest. This place is freezing. Lucky I've gotten pretty accustomed to extreme conditions over the last week. I've got to crack on and find the amulet piece. Just like an ice lolly. One good heft on the chain and... got it. This crystal looks like a good fit. Impressive. The light from this area of the temple is concentrated and redirected. Fits perfectly. Let's fit this crystal in here. Let's see what happens. Ah, fantastic. The light's melting the ice. It's the tail piece of the amulet. And I was complaining about the heat in the desert. This is one of the 3 temples that hold the pieces of the dragon amulet. There don't seem to be that many places it could be hiding. But then, I am a master of underestimating tasks. Let's see if we can't thaw this thing out. I'd better not leave it down there too long. At 1,000 degrees, the line between thawing and incinerating is pretty fine. It worked. The gear's been preserved in perfect condition. Okay, let's see if I can rig this thing up. Let's see what happens when I place the bone in this bowl. The bone didn't look that heavy. Maybe I actually did something right. That should work. The chain's long enough, and the stone should hold the lava without melting. There it is, a cup full of lava. That's it. The statue's moving. Looks like we're in business. A piece of the amulet. It's a piece of the dragon amulet. Almost like it was meant to be. Aha! Feeding stones to these guys makes the discs on the floor move. Ah, something opened up. The headpiece of the dragon amulet. The two pieces fit together perfectly. Hey, look, a dragon. This should be fun. Or terrifying. Hopefully both. Well, that was an anticlimax. What am I doing wrong?
I'm impressed.
Richard, I put the amulet back together. Is something supposed to be happening?
The amulet allows its bearer to breach the force field and to access the heart of Shambhala. Use your imagination, Fenton. Think about how the morphogenetic fields work. They are a part of everyone here.
I liked you more when you didn't talk in riddles.
If you control this energy, you control everything it is a part of. Let your thoughts, your feelings take control. Turn your thoughts into action.
But... Richard?
Great. Okay. Thoughts into action. Thoughts into action. Nothing's happening. Christ. Why does this remind me of Professor Hayes' dragon story? I do like dragons.
Lieutenant, control your men. This is all an elaborate illusion. They are in no danger but from themselves.
This is my chance. I've got to get free before they get organized. That's it. I've pulled some of the glass towards me.
Let's do this thing.
Got to get free. I need to cut myself free. Quickly.
There are still 2 Nazi units out there.
Don't move! It is all just a figment of the imagination! Lieutenant, we end this party trick now. Follow me. We will detonate the explosives. Once we control the heart of Shambhala, we will put an end to this spectacle.
Oh, Countess.
Ah, the girl arises. Given up waiting for your boyfriend to save you?
He's not my boyfriend.
Regardless, you must realize one thing. We have arrived in Shambhala. Your usefulness no longer protects you. It is time for you to die.
I'm the one you need to worry about.
Always with the witticisms, you people. Can't you take something seriously just once?
But it makes everything so much more fun, don't you think? Surprise, Countess?
Ha! A lucky hit, that's all.
Kim, are you okay?
I'm alive, I think.
What's with the kung fu? I didn't know you kick ass. Why didn't you pull that out sooner?
There's a lot about me that you don't know.
So I'm beginning to realize. Maybe that's something we can work on.
Huh, you'd like that, wouldn't you, Paddock?
Kim, you know I would.
Richard?
I don't mean to break up the moment, but it's time for me to say goodbye.
What do you mean?
I've made my decision. I'm going to stay here, in the past.
But why?
I've seen a great many things here that I never would have believed. I think there's a reason I wound up in Shambhala. Whatever you want to call it, there's a great power that connects every living being throughout time and space. I don't begin to understand it, but I do know it wants me to help protect it. Humanity is nowhere near ready for a miracle like this. I know that when you return to your time, you will do everything you can to keep this place a secret. Promise me.
Done.
Thank you, Fenton. And thank you for coming after me. I know how much you've been through. I'll never forget it.
You've really thought this through?
Yes, I have. One day you'll understand.
I think understanding is more your bag, but I'll do my best to get my head around it. I'll make sure the governor knows you're safe.
Thank you. I have to go now.
I'm no good at soppy. You know that.
Just look after yourselves, okay?
Take care, Richard.
What on earth just happened? Where did Richard go?
I'm not entirely sure. But I'll try to explain on the way home.
So that's it then? World saved, catastrophe averted? You're not even a little bit interested to understand the great secrets of the universe?
Nah, overrated. I'm more worried about how the hell we get back home.
So you've been halfway around the world just to get here, and you're going home empty-handed?
Am I?
You think you're pretty cool, don't you, Fenton Paddock?
You're saying you don't?
I see starlight reflecting your eyes. In your arms, I feel tenderly touched all the time. And on your lips, I am reading the words you are mine. Follow me into my arms and my heart, and you see that you're the one I need. Please come with me. I need someone to heal, someone to make me feel. Why don't you follow me? Come follow me. Just follow me.
Congratulations! The bonus area is now available in the main menu.